Hello and welcome in this video here. My name is Kern, and in this video I want to talk about self-knowledge and why it's so important to know yourself in order to live a life where you're peaceful with the results you have, where you are really conscious about yourself and where you manifest and attract the things that you really want, and where you live a life where you are rather a master of your life than a slave by circumstance. Yeah. And I want to start this video with a quote, and this quote comes from one of my big inspirations, a philosopher from the old Greek ancient time, a Greek philosopher. Maybe you know him, his name is Aristotle. Aristotle was a student of Socrates, and yeah, the quote that I want to share with you and to start this video here and this topic is, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. To know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom, and why you should know yourself, and how can this help you, in general? How can this help you, and why I'm sharing this video with you? So the difference between knowledge and wisdom is that with knowledge you can know many things, you can have many informations, inputs, data, and you know the connections between those informations, so you're interconnecting them, and then you know a topic in the theoretical part, in the theory, And the difference to knowledge, like compared to wisdom, is that wisdom is something that inspires your soul, something that you can only experience when you live life. Wisdom is not something that you can just read. Mostly wisdom is something that you attain, that you gain if you go through life, and if you know yourself, and if you reflect on yourself in your life. And to know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, like Aristotle said in the past, because if you don't know who you really are, and if you don't know how you work, especially your mind, and how you see the world, you will never be able to grasp any of these higher concepts. We talk about philosophy here, spiritual topics, and if you don't even know who you are, because most people don't know who they are, most people live a life of circumstance, of luck, they are not the masters of their life, they are not the creators of their life, and they don't even know that they create their own reality. This is one of the things that I want to share with you, is that if you know yourself, you will know that you create your reality, and that's why it's so important. And I'm not talking here about knowing your name, knowing your age, which school you went to, your master degree, your job title, your profession, your age, and so on. This is not what I mean when I talk about knowing yourself, to know yourself. What I mean, and what the old Greek ancient philosophers meant, is to know thyself, is to understand that you are not your mind, that you're not any of those external outer world concepts that you see in the objective world, in your subjective reality, because the world is not really objective to you. It's mostly subjective because you have a filter, and the way you look at life is the way you are. And that's why it's so important to know yourself, because you create your reality. And if you want to have a life of peace, of success, of transformation, of positivity, of a good life, where you say, I'm living the life that I really want, and I don't feel like I'm trapped and a slave, and that things just happen and I don't have any influence on that. If you don't want to live this life, and if you want to live a life where you are the master in your life, where you master yourself and understand who you really are, become really conscious with those concepts, with philosophical concepts like hermetical principles, you can really change a lot and create a reality that you haven't had before, create a new reality, a new life for you. And the thing is that we live in a noisy world today. We live in a noisy world where most people don't know who they are, because we are so distracted by all the media, all these external impulses, and we forget to spend time with ourselves. Mostly we connect in the outer world, social media, in the internet, and we forget to really take time for ourselves. And I don't mean like playing guitar, playing an instrument, doing your hobby, whatever, going out for a walk. What I mean is like really sit down in a quiet and silent space, in a place where it's silent, and get some space where you can be with yourself and really go within and be silent. Okay, and that's the first step that I want to share with you, is how can you know yourself? How do you do that? And in this noisy world where we live in today, the only way to really understand yourself is to find a place of solitude, or be more in solitude. It often happens that people confuse solitude with loneliness. That if you are spending time with yourself, maybe you're lonely, and people connect with loneliness a lot of negative emotions, like you're alone, you have no friends, you are maybe depressed, no connections. And this is a really false concept, a false belief, because solitude has nothing to do with that. You can be by yourself, but you don't feel lonely, because you feel connected to the world, to the universe in some way. And this has something also to do with knowing yourself, is that you are not something that you can grasp in the external world. You are not your body, not your mind, nothing of that is really you. And maybe this message doesn't make sense to you right now. Maybe you're ready to hear that. Maybe you understand what I mean, what message I'm trying to send to you, what message I'm trying to share. Maybe you are ready for those things. But if you don't understand what I'm talking about, this is also not a big problem, because you are on your journey. And only the fact that you're watching this video and that you watch it until this point means that you're curious about these things. Otherwise it wouldn't interest you to watch this video at all. And what I want to say is that the first step is to find a place of silence. Silence is the beginning also, because in silence you are not distracted. You're not distracted by external factors. And this is the time where you can be with yourself, and go within. Stop looking without for answers in the external world, because all the answers that you are seeking, this is also coming from the philosophy of wisdom, is that all the answers that you are seeking in the external world, all these things you will find only in yourself. Peace comes from you, from within, not from the external world. And if I go more deeper into this topic, and maybe will do it in another video, is that you have to understand that you are not really a physical body only, your mind. We are pretty physical if we go through life, the external world. But you are something that you cannot grasp with the mind, with the physical things. You cannot grasp it by your hands. It has to do something with spirituality, something spiritual, philosophical. And if you take all these concepts away, if you go into silence, you will see that there is something that you feel connected to, where you feel connected with all the world around you, that you're not just an individual being, but that you're part of a collective consciousness, a collective being, where we are all connected. And if you go into peace, and if you go into silence, maybe you can feel this. I have done it myself, and I felt that connection too. And to really go into silence, there's a good way to do it. It's a practice, a discipline, something that you can learn. A lot of philosophers did it, spiritual teachers are doing it, and just a lot of people who want to know more about themselves, who want to find peace and happiness, are doing it, who want to be more self-aware. And this thing is meditation. Meditation means to become familiar with yourself, your true self, and not your ego, your persona, your personality, something that you put out to the world, that you think you are, but it's not. Because if you go really deep and put all these concepts away, there's only silence, no labels, and in the end there's not even a polarity, non-duality, and just this consciousness, this awareness that is there. And maybe you will find that this is really you. I found it for myself, and it really helped me. And this is the way to wisdom. This is the way to mastery. Because all these things in the external world, because why you're not achieving the things you want to have, why you're not the person you want to be, is because you're trapped by some kind of concept, some kind of program by your ego, or your mind, in your subconscious mind. You are trapped, by the external factors. You're a slave of the external factors, by distractions, by other people. And the only way to master yourself is to know yourself. That's how you do it in meditation, where you reflect, where you become silent, and where you just observe and get into this field, into this energy, and observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, and see that you're not your thoughts, that you're not your emotions. And that's what it means to really know yourself, is to know that you're connected with everything, that you create your own reality, and that you can manifest anything you want, because you always do. You always manifest your life, but most people are not conscious about that. They are not self-aware. They don't know that they create their own reality because they don't really know themselves. And that's what I wanted to share with you, is to go into silence, solitude, and only if you know yourself, you will be ready to master yourself, to master your mind. You cannot master your mind just by your mind. This is insanity. You cannot solve a problem if you think in the same way that creates the problem. You can only solve the problem if you look from a complete other perspective. And this is what I mean with knowing yourself, because you will get the perspective that you maybe didn't have before. I'm pretty sure that you will see the world in a different perception. And then you finally can understand that peace, mastery, happiness, success, everything starts with you. And this is what I mean with wisdom, what I learned from the old Greek philosophers, from the ancient world, from the history books, philosophy books, that inspired me to also go within. Because we live in this noisy world today, where we get really distracted, waste a lot of time, where people try to convince us with things that has nothing to do, or that have nothing to do with yourself. So this was this video. I'm pretty sure that I will make another part about this topic. It's a topic you can go really deep in, philosophical concepts, spiritual topics here. If you're interested in those topics, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up so that I can see that this video helped you in some way. And please leave me a comment. What do you think about that? And will you go into more silence? Will you seek to understand who you really are, to really know yourself? And also let me know what you are interested in. What do you like, and what would you like to see on this channel? What kind of videos and what topics would you like to see that are connected with that what I talked about in this video? Okay, that's it for now. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more videos like this that are all connected with those topics like philosophy, hermetism, the mind, consciousness, self-awareness, and these topics and concepts, principles that I talk about on this channel. That's what I want to share with you, because it's my purpose to help you on your journey, to find yourself in some way, to know who you really are, and how you can master your mind with self-awareness in order to manifest the life of freedom and purpose. That's what I want to do. And if you're interested in that, you can follow me here on this channel. And stay tuned for more videos. All the best. See you later. Bye.